There we go. There should be sound. Hey, Martin. Hey, Chris. Hey, Kurt. Hey, Eric. Hey, Dina. Hey, Lori, Andrea, Karen. Hey, Kurt, hey, Martin. Hey, Jean. Hey, Susan. Aloha, Octavio. Ethan, Timothy. Oh, you know what? This thing didn't change the, did this thing remember to change the titles? It did not. Hang on. I saw that it had not. Okay then. Well, that's embarrassing. I know that I clicked that. Hey, Londa. Hey, Rodney. Hey, Cindy. Crap, that's I don't like it when I push the wrong button on things. I'll turn this down a bit. Hey, Gina. Hey, Debbie. Almost got a mind to just restart and have the title be proper. I feel like a fool now. Hey, June. Hey, Laurie. Hey, Diane. Hey, Donna. Happy birthday. Hey, Casey. Hey, Alexandra. And beat up. Like warning of tech support waters ahead. It's that kind of day. Nothing's working like it's supposed to. Maybe it's from the storms. I don't know. Evening, Johan. Was just talking about you today a couple times. Keep asking me. Sorry to anybody who's clicking in thinking this was going to be about the first blues song story from the Chicago Defender. Hey, Sue. Hey, Karen. This is actually the time travel pub crawl, but I guess I didn't hit the update button on the titles, or it didn't go through. Hey, Leah. Hey, Mark. Mahalo, Jordana. Hey, Tracy. Hey, everybody. Hey, Cassidy's out there. I keep hearing that I'm quiet against the music. I'm trying to turn the music down. Let's try to turn this down. Turn it out this way. Okay. That might help. Hey, David. Happy birthday, everybody around. Evening, Gregory in Brooklyn. Hey, Karen. Pal Adam pushed the wrong button earlier. Hey, Christy, that new guitar looks terrific. Is that the Koa? Hey, Vicky and Melanie. Hey, Marie. Hey, Ann. Tom, did you bring enough apple pie for everyone? That's the question here. Hey, Steve. Hey, Mary. Sorry to anybody who got this alert that it was the first blues song one. That was yesterday. But turn the music down a little bit more. Hard for me to gauge. Yeah, because this one's going through... Yeah, this one's going through direct, not just through the microphone like I normally do. That'll explain some of that. Hey, Aaron. Hey, to all and sundry. Aloha, Christine. Hey, Leah. And I spent all afternoon working on, well, besides doing a podcast interview, I just wrote up a whole proposal for a time travel pub crawl book. Hey, Georgia. Hope I remember all the data for this one. I reread some of the sources today. Can I name the podcast? If I can remember what the podcast was, I can. Let me see here. What was that called again? It is called Scandal Water. Early, Chicago's always been known as a bar town. I don't know about the crawls. Hey, Christine. Hey, everybody. Happy birthday, Amanda. Oh, Heather, enjoy. The title mix-up is just one of a long string. I don't know, is Mercury in retrograde? Because I don't believe in astrology just in general, but Mercury in retrograde, that stuff's legit, man. But seems like every time, everything breaks. All right, we're going to let the Hawaiian Dreams go through one more time. Ian Impala. Hey, Cindy. We'll give it another minute or so. Hey, Grandma Bell. How about the rest of the folks? I know they're off in LA at Eli's place today. Luke got a uke? Interesting. What are we listening to? This is royalty-free Hawaiian music. Joanne, love it. Kona Coffee's a good pick. Hey, Nancy in Denver. Well, Karen, we'll try to give you a good evening anyway. I can't beat a concert, but Oh man, it hasn't even started yet? Okay, the pre-shadow of Mercury retrograde began. Okay, whatever. I don't know what that means. I don't know what my rising sign is or any of that, but I don't know. There's a good Emo Phillips line. I could use astrology to tell if a girl was a good match for me. If she believed in astrology, we weren't a good match. Oh, he's a Weird Al. Yeah, I can't top that. I just gave you the Emo Phillips line, though, so that's the opening act. Alright, we've got a number of drinks coming up over the course of this show. I am drinking some smoked pineapple rum myself. Alright, this whole royalty-free Hawaiian music has 18 seconds left. We'll let it work its way out, and then we are going to get started properly. Arlie, if you're having something that's not authentic, don't worry. Nothing at a tiki bar is remotely authentic. Alright, well that's winding up the music, so I think it's time that we go ahead and get started. But this is a time travel pub crawl, which means we are going to get started with our theme song.
Climb aboard, cause you don't know exactly where or when we'll go. Chicago 1893, or the Gilded Age in NYC. Blast off into outer space, drink till you're flat on your face. From the comfort of your home, so if you puke alone, one day we'll even find that place in France. And don't come crying to us if you pee your pants. Time travel pub crawl, time travel pub crawl, time travel pub crawl, yeah!
Hey everybody, and welcome along to Mysterious Chicago. It is once again a time travel pub crawl here. I'm Adam Seltzer for Mysterious Chicago Tours. Been a tour guide and historian for going on 20 years now. Author of such book as Smart Aleck's Guide to American History, Mysterious Chicago the book, and the brand new Graceland Cemetery, Chicago Stories, Symbols, and Secrets. So, tonight though, we are doing a time travel pub crawl, which means we have to go back briefly to 1915, when a submarine was found in the Chicago River. It was a wreck of an old 40-foot-long homemade submarine. Nobody knew how long it had been down there or anything. It was put on display as a sideshow piece for a long time, but then it just disappears from the record around 1916. The general sense is that it was probably sold for scrap during World War I. But there are those of us who believe that, in fact, we could still find it someplace and that it might go through time and space. So that's what we've been doing around here on our time travel pub crawls. When we started doing virtual pub crawls, we realized that in a virtual crawl, we're not really bound by time or space. We can go anywhere or any place or any time, including bars that have never really existed. So that's what we're going to be doing tonight on the time travel pub crawl, all aboard the Fool Killer submarine. So today, this is the last Thursday of summer. By this time next Thursday, it's going to be September. I'm so excited about that. You don't even know. But let's give summer a nice long kiss off with our Endless Summer annual tour. So we're going to be talking about tiki. A lot of these bars are related to what we call tiki bars now. We can see here, they're usually meant to evoke the style or at least the idea or the dream of the area known as Polynesia down here in the South Pacific. So tiki bars began, or what we now call tiki bars, in about the 1920s and 1930s, but then in the 1940s came World War II, in which a lot of soldiers, guys from like North Dakota, guys from the middle of nowhere, ended up finding themselves in the South Pacific, which to them may have seemed about like Bali High or Special Island. But then they moved back from the war and moved to places like Levittown. Suburbs. Button down New World. A world away from the South Pacific for sure. Not to mention all of the horrors of war that they had experienced back there. So living here, we had people like the Man in the Gray Flannel Suit, the classic novel by Sloan Wilson, guys who came back from the war haunted by what they had seen and trying to find ways to recontextualize it. This was something that they were really not prepared for. There were magazine articles at the time saying that when your husband gets back from the war, he may be plagued by oppressive remembering. But within 8 weeks, it should all be cleared up. So these guys had gone from, what they decided the Man in the Gray Flannel Suit is the guys were just searching for a routine again, not necessarily searching to get ahead as they got these button-down jobs, living in suburbia, commuting to the city. But as they lived these lives in these identical houses, the tiki culture sprang up. These bars and restaurants that vaguely, kinda, sorta replicated stuff from the South Pacific that had been going on for a while in a way that was in no way authentic, using drinks that were in no way authentic, but allowing them to kind of recapture a bit of that dream, something that they had all shared together, something that could help them recontextualize the horrors of war. Or anyway, that's what we tell ourselves now, partly because a lot of what goes on in tiki bars is a really problematic reimagining of Polynesian culture that really has very little to do with Polynesian culture whatsoever. But it did help a lot of people in those days and became really a classic American style that is now celebrated more for kitsch than anything else. But the very first one, by a lot of metrics, the first person who did this Polynesian pop style was a guy by the name of Don the Beachcomber, who opened a place like this out in Los Angeles. Now, Don the Beachcomber was born in 1907. His real name was Ernest, and he spent a long time traveling around with his uncle. During Prohibition, he was going to Jamaica to buy things like rum. After he grew up, his parents gave him a choice of either take your college money and go to college, or take your college money and do what you want. And he decided to travel around with it, travel all over the world, all over the South Seas, collecting knickknacks, then eventually ran out of money, moved back to Los Angeles, got a job as a valet, met some Hollywood people, and started getting a job as a consultant, which means really that he loaned them his stuff to make places to make the beach look like the South Pacific. But eventually he opened up his own restaurant, using all of his knickknacks and using a lot of his own inventions. This is Don the Beachcomber over here on the left. He really looks a lot like my brother, to be perfectly honest. Same lack of hair and everything. There's him at an older age. Among his innovations here, there wasn't a lot of food originally. There were just these drinks he had invented called rum rhapsodies. Now, rum is not something that you really encounter very often in actual Polynesia. It's more of a Caribbean thing. But he invented all of these drinks, invented or borrowed. They could refer to as original: Barbados Punch, Myrtle Bank Punch, Mystery Gardenia. All these drinks for up to about $1.25. Coconut rum, $2. Colonial grog. There's really not much to see here that'll tell you what it is that you're drinking. They got a little bit better at this in the 1950s version of the menu, with things like the Zombie, which was full of so much alcohol that it had a limit of 2. The Zombie was a drink that people, very difficult to recreate. There was just so much in it. 3 Dots and a Dash, seen down here, is now the namesake of a bar that opened in Chicago a couple of years ago, a tiki recreation. The Zombie included gold rum, Jamaican rum, Demerara rum, lime juice, falernum, grapefruit, cinnamon syrup, grenadine, Angostura bitters, and Pernod. Now, one of the reasons you don't see what the ingredients are on here is that Don was very, very secretive about this. Even his bartenders didn't know what they were doing. I mean, they knew what they were doing and what they were supposed to be mixing up, but he had put everything into just numbered and labeled bottles. So they didn't really know what was in each given bottle. They just knew how to mix them. So let's check in with Don the Beachcomber and see what's going on in this place. Don?
Aloha. Welcome to Don the Beachcomber. People call me Don Beach.
That your name?
According to the courts, it is now. Come on into the birthplace of tiki culture in America. I've traveled around the world and brought a slice of the South Pacific home for you.
Where did you
A
sail?
little bit of everywhere, my good man. I'm no stranger to the 7 seas. I can tell you tales of adventure, excitement, exotic worlds, and tropical flavors.
True tales?
As true as you'd like them to be.
Look, I know a thing or two about liars.
Why don't we get you a drink? I have over 60 tropical cocktails on my menu. All enough to transport you to a Tahitian paradise, all Don Originals.
Originals,
Maybe
huh?
try a zombie if you think you're strong enough.
How about a round of Mai Tais? It's early yet.
Ah, my true classic. Now you're talking. Take some dark rum, a light rum, some lime juice, orange curacao, and some orgeat, and mix them all together.
Nice of you to share the recipe with us.
Who said I did that? There's imitators all over the world. Maybe I told you one of their Mai Tai recipes and fed you one of mine.
Well, it's delicious either way. Thanks a lot,
Sail
Don.
in anytime.
All right, Don the Beachcomber, everybody. Eventually, he expanded. There were Don the Beachcomber locations all over the place, including here in Chicago. We are in Chicago, after all. Now, his place in Chicago was right up around here, just off of the Magnificent Mile. Right around the side of where the Bloomingdale's is now. Looked about like this. And on the inside, this is the Chicago location looking like this. All right, now to get things going here musically. Now, typically in a tiki bar in the 1950s and 60s, they would have been playing exotica, which is, drums and screeching birds. These days, if you go to a tiki bar, it's almost invariably going to be surf music. I don't really know anybody who plays surf music very well, but I do know a guy by the name of Rich Kruger who writes a fantastic song about hanging out in bars. This, everybody, Rich Kruger.
Hey, my name is Rich Kruger, and welcome to the Time Travel Pub Crawl special summer holiday edition. And this song is about my favorite pub to crawl to, the Gallery Cabaret, 2020 North Oakley in Chicago. It should reopen due to virus and plague conditions.
It is reopened.
August 1st, 2020, God willing. It's owned by Kenny Strandberg. And so this song is
Rest in
called
peace.
Kenny's. It's always Christmas in this bar. It's always St. Pat's and also Halloween. Nothing here's ever thrown away. Here, real art always has its say. Kenny hangs a brand new works just about every 30 days. Look around, it's the 4th of July. It's always Christmas in this bar. At the bar, a regular proves once more that he is just a xenophobic jerk. The piano's always out of tune, but just the keys that work. The sound man drinks the night away. It makes my day here to say that you've entered hell, around hell's most festive holiday. Oh, and it ain't only the piano that's been drinking. I tip my hat to Kenny, that is if I can only find my hat. And there's a Ringo built of stars that hovers proudly over the bar. And someone's playing the house guitar. It's always Christmas in this bar. Well, there goes Johnny. He's back from his last bender and he's mixing cocktails behind the bar. He's got on some silver rings and he's put on a broad brim smile. He's got a brand new turquoise polo tie, and for every woman he's got a line. There'll be one more bender, but he won't return that time. And outside on the corner, the young and the old share their papers, their pipes, and their pot. Some still smoke tobacco, the weed says louder, up yours in the car. But late night, some guy drove a drunken car to the front wall, right into the bar. Thank God the pizza lived. Some of us might just starve. Yeah. On a Sunday, there's always a free Sunday meal. All you need to do is say yourself a prayer and buy yourself 2 beers. Me, I always try to tip the cook if I find that the cook is still standing. And I'm proud to say that I ain't never throwed up after eating here. Well, you know that somewhere on the earth bar did I find a stranger. The soundman and some women are real glad that Johnny's gone. Oh, the strangers, just a stranger here for less than a half a beer. The only fear we gotta fear is when last call's called. Oh, and it ain't only the piano that's been drinking. Tell me, friends, where else have you seen people juggle people with their feet? Like Picasso and George Bernard Shaw hold court over Kenny's lovely bar. And it's my turn to play the guitar. It's always Christmas at this bar. Well, hope you get to pub crawl to Kenny's one of these days. Again, I'm Rich Kruger, and you can find my stuff on all over the internet, Spotify and all those streaming services, or on or be directed via my website at www.richkruger.com. We got a new EP / quite frankly, album coming out, 9 songs. Old demos coming out at the end of the month in July, and I hope you'll check it out. And there's an upcoming feature on me on CBS Sunday Morning. It's supposed to be broadcast in July or August, so keep your eyes open. Anyway, back to the Time Travel Pub Crawl Holiday Edition.
All right, Rich Kruger, everybody. You can see that's a bit of an old video. Let's zip on. All right, so here we are in Oakland at a little place called Hinky Dinks, not unlike Hinky Dink Kenna, our Chicago alderman. This was the menu over at Hinky Dinks, run by a guy by the name of Trader Vic's. He had things like a mojito, a rum cow, which was a lot of coconut and rum, I believe. Cuban Presidente, the Barbados rum swirl. This was all run by a guy by the name of Victor Bergeron. Victor Bergeron took some time off to travel around, realized just how popular these drinks were. So he traveled around in the South Pacific and around Jamaica, learning to make new kinds of drinks. Then took a trip to Don the Beachcomber and was absolutely entranced. He drove the staff crazy trying to figure out what was in all of those drinks, and was always really quite open about the fact that when he opened his own place, Trader Vic's, it was very much inspired by Don the Beachcomber. But he added things like even more drinks, different drinks, including a version of the Mai Tai that he too claimed was the real thing, and also food. Mostly a variation on Chinese food, a kind of an Americanized one, which at the time was really out there. In the 1940s, nobody in America normally had tried much Chinese food. This really was kind of shopping. Eating with chopsticks was something nobody had ever actually encountered before. Not if you lived in, like, North Dakota. Pretty soon, but when you came down to the Bay, going to Trader Vic's was a must-see. Eventually, when Queen Elizabeth came through, she went to Trader Vic's and had the first meal of her life that was not cooked up by a palace chef. So let's check in with Mr. Vic Bergeron.
Hi there, I'm Vic Bergeron. Welcome to Trader Vic's, home of the original Mai Tai.
Hey, Don the Beachcomber just told us that his was the...
Anyone who says I didn't invent the Mai Tai is a dirty stinker.
Well, I wouldn't be accused of that. Was there a werewolf here with perfect hair earlier?
That's our London location. Swing by on your Halloween crawl.
All right, well, nice place you have here.
Only the best for our Trader Vic's regulars. We have locations all around the world, so no matter where you roam, you always feel like you have a slice of the Pacific waiting for you.
What can you recommend to drink? I mean, we've already had the Mai Tai.
Not to worry. Try one of my other originals, the Eastern Sour. Rye bourbon, orgeat, lime juice, orange juice, and simple syrup to sweeten it up. You won't miss the rum, I promise.
Sounds like a winner. One of those.
Coming right up. And next time you see Don Beach, you tell him Trader Vic is going to blow him out of the water.
Will do. Thanks a lot, Vic. All right, Vic's eventually had locations all over the place. There was one in Chicago. There's one in Atlanta that's still even functioning. Gradually, they've kind of disappeared over the while. This is the London one, where you might encounter a werewolf drinking a pina colada with perfect hair. 1972, there was a thing called the Good Time Manual that came out that said if you were in San Francisco, where the young people under 30 were going, you could go to Trader Vic's, which was expensive, but a pretty cool place to hang out. In Chicago, it operated out of the Palmer House. And this is a look at the Chicago location. I'm sure there's people out here who've been there. I've actually been to the Atlanta one. I went during Dragon Con one time. Tried a coconut curry for the first time, and it was delicious. Last time I saw the menu to the Atlanta one, they no longer seem to have the hot spice butter rum that comes in a skull-shaped mug and then set on fire. Shame. Well, let's zip off a little ways. Let's go to see some pure history coming up here. There was a place called Dude Dodge's down in Florida, a place where I can't even actually find a picture. I can just find a whole lot of newspaper ads. They would feature things like Alan DiBiasio, the world's lousiest pianist. This was Dude Dodge's Marine Show Bar. It was a grudgy little bar right on the edge, I believe in Tampa, which would have things like an unintentionally terrible pianist, or Elaine and Gay and Smilin' Jack, the Palm Beach's hilarious hillbillies entertaining nightly. It's right off the Dixie Highway. Or Alan Sterling would come in and play piano parodies. You really get the impression of what kind of place this was. Guys would just sit at the grungy little piano bar where guys in suit played like songs that aspired to be Tom Lehrer songs. We could have Everett Engerson with pantomime, comedy, piano, parodies. Party. Or Flash at Dude Dodge's Marine Bar with Sam the Joker. Or Bob Silva doing risque comedy. Air conditioned for your comfort. In Florida, that would get me in there anyway. What is probably best remembered for of all now is one day in 1956, a young man with greasy black hair came in after doing one of his own shows. He was on the road promoting his upcoming single, Heartbreak Hotel, whose Chicago connections we covered a few weeks ago here in Mysterious Chicago. But they thought Elvis looked like he wasn't really 21, or possibly that he just looked too greasy to be hanging out in the kind of place where they have guys like Bob Silva, Flash, Everett Engerson, and Alan Sterling, classy guys in bow ties, also some hillbillies. So Elvis was actually thrown out of the bar before he could get a drink at this place. So because of that, that's probably the only reason anybody remembers them at all. But, I do happen to know a piano player. Here's Mary, everybody.
For the best drinking you'll never find. That man, did he just string you along, spinning you a yarn or a line? What's left when three rights make a wrong? Darling, have some fruit of the vine. Out of spirits or creme de menthe, life is cruel to the end. Why not try the labyrinth? Oh yeah, oh yeah, Meet me at the labyrinth plinth. We're gonna leave the bull behind. Meet me at the labyrinth plinth for the best drinking you'll never find. Medusa brought a statue along, carrying a bass and guitar, set up with a nap and a song. Galatea's rocking the bar. Out of spirits or creme de menthe, life is cruel to the nth. We're singing at the labyrinth. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Plinth. We're gonna leave the bull behind. Meet me at the labyrinth plinth for the best drinking you'll never find. He left when you had fallen asleep. You pitied him and gave him a clue. Get lost, you said when he came to weep. Darling, to your feet. is cruel to the nth. But how about that labyrinth? Oh yeah, oh yeah, Meet me at the labyrinth plinth. We're gonna leave the bull behind. Meet me at the labyrinth plinth for the best drinking you'll never find. Meet me at the labyrinth plinth. We're gonna leave the bull behind. Meet me at the labyrinth plinth for the best drinking you'll never find. The best drinking you'll never find. The best drinking you'll always find. Yeah.
Mary Crowell, everybody, the Mad Doctor of Alabama. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. Hey, Dead Ringers. You guys have missed your big scenes earlier if you're just pumping in now. As we're about to go through hyperspace, there is another one coming up here featuring the Dead Ringers. Ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go overseas now to Butlins Holiday Camp. This is a whole string of summer holiday camps, kind of the British equivalent of the Catskills. It was a place to go take a vacation in England. They're still around. I don't know if the one in Clacton-on-Sea is still there. But such a British name there. The schedule for a given day, there were always activities, including things like the Grandma of the Week competition. Fun. The Butlins Princess of the Week competition, children's own competitions, a lot of competitions. Sensational stick dancing, roller skating, modern and old-time dancing to Bert Hayes and his trio. She likes church bingo dances and old-time dances. Fabulous limbo, old-time music hall, every night at 11 p.m. 11 p.m. you could go and join everybody to sing Any Old Iron or My Old Man said Follow the Van. Take potluck show, film shows, indoor heated swimming pool. I bet the films were just awful. Whist drives for the 5 or 6 people who were still playing whist. And of course, they also had things like rock bands for the kids back in the early 60s. This is one of the bands playing at Butlins, Rory Storm and the Hurricanes, best remembered now for their drummer, who was known at the time as Ringo Starr. Just before he joined the Beatles, they actually left a Butlins to go join the Beatles. Now, there's actually a video of a tiki bar night and a tiki competition that took place at a Butlins. It's very difficult to sit through just on its own, so with help from the Dead Ringers and the Dead Ringers' wife, Melissa, here's a Riff Tracks kind of edition of Butlins Holiday Camp presents the Tiki Princess.
Hula Girls.
Yes, nothing says hula like pasty Brits.
We're not in Tahiti or Hawaii. This beachcomber bar is in a Skegness holiday camp, where at this moment, the first hippie hula contest in Britain is underway.
Stupid
Who's got the
hippies.
most authentic wiggle?
Authentic? No.
Margaret Thatcher, Britain's top hula judge.
So like this.
Wiggle, wiggle.
Here's where the rum comes in.
Oh,
You
finally.
can pirates pick me up, or a missionary's downfall, a Cologne kiss, or bingo, a planter's punch that's a real knockout.
How do you like my wiggle, sir?
I guess he needed more?
In this bar, you could fancy yourself lost in the Pacific, unless those exotic drinks make you fighting mad, like the old pirates who used to invade the Polynesian peace and the
Sorry,
hula
honey,
rhythm
this
with
makes
the
me
dancing
mad
that
enough to
goes with
slug
it.
you like a pirate.
Hello, handsome.
Now, which are the girls with the snaky hips that you'd soonest be shipwrecked with on a coral island? The
pasty one with the microphone?
beachcombers are here to find out, and it's alluring.
Good thing we wore
That is,
our
they're
hula
picking the
skirts to
girls in
dinner.
pairs. No rationing here.
Well, there's the ass in the grass. All we need is gas and we ride for free.
This is hula-ing, right?
And now at this paradise
Oh, I
of the
like them
northern
all. It's
seas,
so hard to
it's the moment
choose.
of truth.
Tens,
And there'll be
tens,
champagne for
tens
the two
across the
who've most
board.
evoked Hawaii's charm. There's nothing like bubbly for getting things really going.
Yes,
it's men,
tiki
not
bubbly,
girls
not
that need
rum.
persuading when it comes to dancing anything outlandish.
Oh, I'm done.
Come on, chance your arm.
Ooh, tiki-like.
Never mind, give this
On
guy
the
the
railway
champagne.
stations, they used to tell us Skegness was bracing, but they never warned
Ah!
you might expect a
Works
tropical
like-
storm as bracing as this.
Uh-oh. I think someone left the shower running. The gods have been angered by all our celebrating.
Tiki no like.
Here, the crocodile
Hey,
reigns
Steve.
supreme.
Remember when Rock was young?
Alright, now having the fake rain effect was actually a Don the Beachcomber innovation. He figured out that if he made it look like it was raining, people might actually be fooled and think, hey, it's raining out. Might as well just stay and have another drink. It seemed to work in any case. Alright, we will zip our way back, ostensibly to the United States, but really all around the world. We are going to check out quickly Kon-Tiki Ports, which was another tiki establishment that became a chain that had different rooms for different kinds of places. What we're talking about here is the Hotel Intercontinental, where the Chicago location was, the Yellow Onion Dome, subject of many urban legends about Zeppelins. We'll walk up a little closer to it here from the other side. Now, what's cool about this is you walk around the edge of it. I think I made this too long of a walk. Yeah. You walk along the edge where the ocean meets the land like you're walking on a wire in a circus. Parking your car outside of the house. Down over the edge, you can still see a little relic of when it was Kon-Tiki Ports. This is the lava wall. Common feature in such things. Kind of gave you the impression that you were inside of a volcano. And that is still there to this day, even though Kon-Tiki Ports itself is now long gone. Now, Kon-Tiki Ports was named after the book Kon-Tiki by Thor Heyerdahl, which really captured people's imagination at the time, not so much because of his theory of how Polynesian migration got started, but his attempt to prove that people from South America could have sailed all the way to Polynesia on a makeshift raft, which absolutely blew people away. There's a 1973 ad for it at it was the Sheraton in Chicago at the time. You go to Kon-Tiki Ports, or the Clip Joint, a bogus barber shop. They had a lot of fun bars in this place. Also, you could go see one of the many Batmobiles that were on tour at the time. And here's how kind of one of the rooms on the inside. Love the glasses on this guy. Hey, it looks like Darren Bailey still hasn't changed his haircut. Saigon room. They had different rooms about different ports, such as the Saigon room, Singapore Joe's room, or the Papeete room. And around here, we've got a couple of different drinks we could give you. Let's do, what are we going to do, the Jekyll Island Coaster or the drink Mom likes? Let's do the drink Mom likes.
Oh, so apparently Adam wants evidence. I have two moms right here who can attest to it.
Adam, I'm your mom. I love it.
Oh, you know what? I pushed the wrong
Last
button.
time I saw you at Kon-Tiki, Chicago, I promised that the next time we met, I would tell you about drink Mom likes. And I'm happy to share the recipe with you. In a rocks glass, or tiki mug, if you have one, mix 1.5 ounces of coconut rum, 2 ounces of Arnold Palmer, which is half lemonade and half iced tea, and 3 ounces of V8 Mango Splash. This is a wonderful drink. I've never met anybody, a mom, a mother-in-law, or anyone, who doesn't love it. Back to you, Adam. So apparently Adam wants evidence. I have two moms right here who can attest to it.
Adam, I'm your mom. I love it.
And I'm her mom, and I love it too.
Cheers.
All right, well, Dana said, okay, who says it sounds pretty vile out there? Dave? Okay, well, that doesn't sound like something great to me, but Dad has never met anyone who didn't like it. He can try it on me in a couple of months when he comes here, or just over a month now, when he is here in town for the Time Travel Pub Crawl. Let's zip back to one more place One more nice summer-themed place, the Chicago equivalent, really, of Butlin's Holiday Camp, would have been the Edgewater Beach Hotel. The Edgewater Beach apartments are still standing. We've been to them on the morning mini tours several times, but back before they expanded Lakeshore Drive, and what is now Lakeshore Drive was really actually the beach up here on the north side in Edgewater, was the Edgewater Beach Hotel. This was the kind of place where people just lived there for years at a time, right there on the water, with its own live bands all the time. So here, briefly, is one of the bands. Sing Something Simple from the Second Little Shop.
A little ditty that's sweet and simple. You'll get the swing of it soon, for here's a tune that any child can sing. D stands for dimple. The words are silly, the song is simple. And after hearing it once, the dumbest dunce can memorize the thing.
All right, you heard the man. Sing a song. Make it simple to last your whole life long. We're going to zip off into the future now. Into the future. All right, so Bali High from South Pacific kind of symbolized this whole Lost Island paradise to people who were living in the bland Levitt towns of the 1950s. But eventually by the 1960s and the 1970s, the whole thing had kind of fallen apart. It just became kitsch. People started thinking it was really uncool. You had things like the Brady Bunch dancing around in glass skirts. You had Billy Joel using it as a metaphor for drugs.
'Cause Captain Jack will get you high tonight and take you to your special island.
Bali High was your special island of the soldiers, a drug metaphor for Billy Joel. And then by the time I was a kid, we had stuff like this.
We've got the food taste. We've got the food and new food island cereal.
Rhode Island has real apple bits on every island, and real cherry, orange, and lemon taste. So please, King Yama Yama. Oh, how does it taste? Oh, mighty King.
Yama Yama.
Rhode Island
How
Fine
did we
cereal
think
is
this was
part of the
okay?
complete breakfast.
Cereal looks good.
Island cereal.
Yama Yama. You can say it too.
You also see that reflected in people like King Hippo on Mike Tyson's Punch-Out!, whose quote was generally, "Ha ha ha, I am the king, ha ha ha, I am the king." But through that period, there became a bit of a tiki resurgence in the 1990s when it was no longer thought of as recontextualizing the South Pacific horrors of war, but just plain kitsch. Like in Chicago, we had things like 3 Dots and a Dash, which is right across from where the old gallows used to be, and you enter down a staircase lined with skulls, hidden back behind a building by the courthouse, by the old courthouse. And of course, there's things like the Enchanted Tiki Room at Disney. And that takes us through to the sunset. We got one more musical guest for you guys to wrap things all up. Everybody, here is James Davis from Mahaley's Grave.
Oh, hi everyone. This is James Davis from Mahaley's Grave. Today I'm not coming at you from the Deep South as normal, but from the Tracy Aviary in Salt Lake City, as I've been journeying way out west, and this is where I find myself. I believe the closest thing to tiki I can find in Salt Lake City is flamingos. Though that still may not be regionally correct. However, I do got a little number for you. to belly, but I don't give a damn, cause I'm dead already and back to back. Belly to belly at the zombie jamboree. Back to back and belly to belly, but I don't give a damn, cause I'm dead already and back to back. Belly to belly at the zombie jamboree. It was a zombie jamboree. Took place Rose Hill Cemetery. Said it was a zombie jamboree. Happened in Rose Hill Cemetery. Zombies from all over the land. Some of them were great Californians. And since the season was carnival, they got together and barked and all. Everybody sing back to back, belly to belly, but I don't give a damn, cause I'm dead already and back to back. Belly to belly at the zombie jamboree. Back to back, belly to belly, but I don't give a damn, cause I'm dead already and back to back. Belly to belly at the zombie jamboree. One female zombie wouldn't behave. She said she want me for a slave. In one hand holding quarter wine, in the other she pointing she'll be mine. I said, oh no, my turtle dove, that bag of bones I cannot love. I said, oh no, my turtle dove, but that bag of bones I cannot love. Everybody sing back to back, belly to belly, but I don't give a damn, cause I'm dead already and back to back. Belly to belly at the zombie jamboree. Believe me, folks, I have to run. Zombie husband just ain't no fun. I said, oh no, my turtle dove, that bag of bones I cannot love. Right then and there she raised her feet and said, I'm gonna get you now, my sweet. I'm gonna make you call me sweetie pie. I said, oh no, get back, you lie. Everybody's in the back to back, belly to belly, but I don't give a damn, cause I'm dead already and back to back. Belly to belly at the zombie jamboree. Back to back and belly to belly, but I don't give a damn, cause I'm dead already and back to back. Belly to belly at the zombie jamboree. I may be lying, but you will see. After you kiss this dead zombie, never such a horror in all my life. Can you imagine me with the zombie wife? Back to back, belly to belly, but I don't give a damn, cause I'm dead already and back to back. And belly to belly at the zombie jamboree. All the zombies say,
everybody.
Oh yeah, back to back, belly to belly, but I don't give a damn, cause I'm dead already and back to back, and belly to belly at the zombie jamboree, at the zombie jamboree, at the zombie jamboree. Brains.
Thank you, James of May Haley's Grave. All right, everybody. Now, there's a number of songs, versions of that out there. One of my favorites is there was one recorded by Rockapella, the group that used to end the Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego game show every day. There's also one by a guy called The Charmer who would later change his name to Louis Farrakhan. But that brings us around to the end of our time travel pub crawl for today, which means I got to plug some upcoming tours here. This is an older one. Let's see if I can get the more recent one in. Let's see. Everything's all pear-shaped here. All right, upcoming tours. So next week, we're going to kind of continue the time travel pub crawl theme. We're going to see if I can do a ghost tour when I'm drunk. I'm going to have a couple of drinks before, and I'm going to continue drinking throughout from For the most part, the ghost tour stories I have told so many times I can about do them through muscle memory. Now we'll see if I can actually do them drunk. It was a fun challenge when I used to work like 4 tours a day on the boats for Shoreline. I didn't say it was Shoreline. But my last tour of the day would be my martini tour, where I would break out the other water bottle and give myself the challenge of doing the same thing for the 4th time that day, but while really drunk. I don't think anybody ever noticed that I was drunk at the time. I was at least professional about that. In person, we've got the next couple of Saturdays. We're going to be at Graceland Cemetery right here in Chicago. A couple of tickets left. Just listed the one for September 3rd, so that's still brand new. And there are still like 2 tickets left on the 6:30 boat cruise. Several tickets left on the 8:30 boat cruise for September the 30th. If you like the moms and dads showing up around here, they're probably going to be present at that. All right, everybody, and should you need to see any more of them, wrong buttons. Should you need a t-shirt, etc., cafepress.com/MysteriousChicago has what you need. And if you join on the Patreon, scroll back a week or so in the post, and there's a link to get a discount version of the Cemetery Coyote calendar. Lots and lots of great stuff coming up, everybody. So thanks a lot for joining me, everybody. I'm Adam from Mysterious Chicago Tours. We got to put some Benny Goodman on here anyway. Let's move back into the 1930s anyway. And I'll get the Benny going in just a second here. Push the button. Slowly load. Everything is very slow tonight. The tech is just not working properly all day. But it got us through the tour. Here we go.
Letting Benny Goodman and his music.
All right, everybody. Thanks a lot for coming out. All right, you know who hasn't shown up so far tonight? Miles. You've been very close by this whole time. Miles has been hanging out in this laundry basket the whole time.
Benny Goodman, ladies and gentlemen, the man with the torrid clarinet and the even more torrid band who pervades assorted...
He's been hanging out in the laundry basket this entire time.
The Congress Hotel in Chicago.
I left the Zoom with the Scandal Waters podcast recording earlier. I left to go refill my coffee, and when I came back, they're like, "Who's the cat?" He'd come up to say hello as I stepped away and like to fill in for me. Gene, that would be awesome. Thanks, Amy. I'm putting together a proposal for the Time Travel Pub Crawl book. I think it would look similarly structurally to like the Murder Maps book. Cindy, it's going to be virtual. But go to adamchicago.com. That'll link you to all of the stuff. Thanks, Bruce. Maybe we can get Miles a stroller or something. I don't think he'd like that much. All right. Christy, when Luca is ready, they can definitely perform. Miles is just hanging out here. Miles' drink of choice at a tiki bar. Well, I don't know, Miles, what would you like to drink? He's not a big food-oriented cat, really. I mean, he eats a lot, but there's nothing that really gets him super excited food-wise. Full view of my shirt. It's like this. It's one of those things I just clicked on a Facebook ad. The best way to find mid-century stuff is they advertise on like social media. Miles. I'm awfully tired tonight, guys. We'll give it a few more minutes here. Miles. Now that I got him out of the laundry basket, he wants all the attention. Priya has been on the couch back behind me this entire time. You can see her back there. Ow, ow, ow. I'm not sure how Miles would take to a leash. He often wants to bolt out the door, but if he ever gets out the door, he panics real fast. So we'll see.
Benny Goodman presents Helen Ward singing With All My Heart.
Miles. Hey, Amy, glad to have you back. It's still alive and kicking. Yeah, we don't have the numbers we had when nobody had anything else to do, but we're still moving. Still having fun, working on, I just wrote up a proposal for a book based on all of this. With recipes and pictures and songs. Well, the drinking tour seems to be popular for next week. It's getting more, I think I've already got more pre-orders for that than I did for this one. Miles is up here purring. All right, I'm gonna turn the Benny off so you guys can all hear Miles purring, I think. Miles is purring very loud right now, where he was a second ago. Hey, Miles. Okay. Hair all over the place now. Edwina, there are a couple of October dates listed. I'll get going on the rest of them shortly. Especially probably this weekend. I got a couple of TV appearances coming up, so it's never a bad idea. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen. In the meantime, I am going to be taking off a little bit early tonight, so one quick plug once again for the upcoming appearances. We have got the next week is going to be the Ghost Tour History While Drinking. That one will probably run a little bit longer, for better or worse. August 27th and September 3rd, Graceland Cemetery, Chicago Stories, Symbols, and Secrets in person. But all right, everybody. Thanks a lot for joining me. Where'd Priya go? Priya just got down. Good night, Priya. And good night, Miles. Thanks, everybody, for joining me. Stay spooky, everybody, and have a great day.